This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. Hope all of the faithful is having a great week and you are getting ready to have a phenomenal weekend. We have a great show coming your way. We're going to talk about the players and the Niners who have been balling out and shining during Niners OTAs. Before we do that and take a look at that list, I made a promise to my bosses that in the month of June, here on the 49ers Report, we would pick up more subscribers this month than last month in May. Let's start the month off with the bang here as we're in the early going of June. In May, 938 new people hit that subscribe button to join the movement here on the show. In June, we have to beat that number or else. Shout out to all of the real ones, by the way. We just surpassed 162,000 subscribers. Niner number one, who's been balling out during OTAs, 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings. He's going into a contract year. He epitomizes what the Niners are about as a football club, and his development over time since being a 7th-round pick in 2020 has been highly impressive. During OTAs, he's been wide receiver one. Bona fide guy for quarterback Brock Purdy. And he's been continuing what was in 2024 stellar play when he had a career year and came so close to 1,000 yards receiving. He hadn't come close to sniffing that in his career because he was behind so many great players who were occupying all the touches for San Francisco. But last year, due to injuries at that position, he rose to the occasion, and I don't think he's going to look back. During OTAs at times, Jawan Jennings has been the best player on the field for San Francisco, and pretty impressive that he was dominating and picking apart Renardo Green, who last year as a rookie performed very well after being a 2nd-round pick out of Florida State. And Jennings' connection with Brock Purdy has continued. Niner number two, who's been cooking, Deommodore Lenoir. And I like the start that we're off to here on today's show. The Niners have question marks at wide receiver. They need Jauan Jennings to have a big year. They have question marks at corner. They need Deommodore Lenoir to continue to play really good football. He's provided this Niners defense and Robert Saleh with sticky coverage as cornerback one. In 2024, I thought that Lenoir played at a Pro Bowl, all-pro level. He has given up just one touchdown in coverage the last 3 years, and I think that he's consistently slept on. I think he's one of the top corners in the game, but casuals who don't watch the Niners never include him in that conversation. But that's okay. He has that hyena dog mentality. The growth has really continued for Lenoir. And when you talk about Jennings, you talk about Lenoir. These are players who the Niners took late in the draft. Lenoir, a 5th-rounder out of Oregon. Jauan Jennings, a 7th-rounder out of Tennessee. And year by year by year by year, they continue to progress. They continue to get better. They continue to grow. And their ascent has really helped this football organization. George Kittle recently raving about Deommodore Lenoir, his leadership, his spirit, the contagious, positive role and influence that he has on his teammates, and just the mentality combined with the overall play that we always see from Demo. And with the Niners signing him last year, way early, not letting him hit free agency, with the cornerback market being robust and exploding, they got Demo at a discount. There are players like Charvarius Ward and Carlton Davis getting $20 million per year. DJ Reed got paid. And you can make the argument that Deommodore Lenoir at like $18 million per year is better than those players. How about what rookie wide receiver Jordan Watkins has been able to do? The Niners took him in the 4th round out of Ole Miss. The 4.3 speed has been on display. Last year for Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart, he was one of the most explosive players and wide receivers in college football. His catch per touchdown rate was like every 6 catches, he was finding the end zone. What surprises me about Watkins is that he ran the sub-4 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, but he has big tree trunk thick legs where he's able to pick up yards after the catch. And he has some pop once he catches the ball, and not just creating separation with that speed, but being able to break tackles a little bit. And he's got some lower body strength to his game, which I think fits what the Niners want in some of their wideouts, because Kyle Shanahan, he'll get you hooked up with spacing. He'll get you the ball with the ability to pick up those yards after the catch. You just got to be able to take advantage of that. I think Jordan Watkins is going to be able to do that. He's also very sure-handed. He had 6 college drops in more than 40 college games split between Louisville, as some of you would say, and Ole Miss. So he has been a very consistent catcher of the football. And Kyle Shanahan, he was a college wide receiver, played wide receiver at Texas. That's no joke. He's very tough on wideouts. It's a hard position to make an impact at right away. But Watkins has been able to do that, and if you're impressing Kyle Shanahan at that wide receiver spot because that's his specialty, I'd chalk that as pretty impressive. More players coming up who have been balling out during Niners OTAs, but I want to welcome on a brand new sponsor here on the San Francisco 49ers Report, and we are stoked to have them here at Chat Sports, and that's Ridge. Here's a look at my old wallet. Look at how thick and clunky this thing is. You compare that to the Ridge wallet. It's about a quarter of the size, and it does everything that this old crusty wallet can do, except it's so much better. Lighter, more compact, more durable. You can have this forever. It also has a very sleek design. And the unique design of it, how slim it is, the modern design, it holds up to 12 cards plus cash. It's incredible. I'm somebody also who hates having a bunch of things in my pocket, or if my pockets get too bulky with the Ridge wallet, I don't have to worry about that any longer. It's a game changer. We showed you the Niners Ridge wallet. If you want one of those to support San Francisco, plenty of those available too. In addition to that keychain, all Ridge products have a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. And does it give you peace of mind knowing that all Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpocketers? They also have over 100,000 5-star reviews. And I know a lot of us have anxiety about this, right? Losing your wallet, it's the absolute worst. But with the Ridge AirTag attachment, you'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. So, right now, just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/chat. Just head to ridge.com/chat. Use that code chat to find the perfect gift for your dad or yourself. When you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. It goes a long way. And tell them that the 49ers Report, Chase Sr., and Chat Sports sent you. Up to 40% off Ridge at ridge.com/chat. I'll put that link down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's San Francisco 49ers Report. Another Niner, surprisingly, who has been performing well during OTAs is offensive tackle Austin Pleasants. The Niners signed him last year because they were so beaten up and battered at that offensive tackle spot. He ended up having to play in an emergency situation, and here against the Detroit Lions, he actually played pretty well. And Larry Krueger, who knows ball, former professional football scout. I go on a show every single Friday, host of the Krug Show on YouTube, north of 50,000 subs. He knows ball. And how about this prediction right here? He was spot on. He tweeted this out on May 30th. He said, prediction, Nicholas Petit-Frere has a petite impact on the Niners. He labored mightily through the OTA practice yesterday. Austin Pleasants looked amazing. Fast, powerful, explosive by comparison. Look for Pleasants to battle like crazy for the swing tackle job this summer with Andre Dillard. What happened on June 3rd? The 49ers released Nicholas Petit-Frere. This is the same Larry Krueger who, alongside me, predicted and talked about the Bryce Huff to the Niners trade happening months before it happened. Sometimes it takes skill. You just got to know ball. You look at that Niners offensive line depth chart. Austin Pleasants. He might be the top backup offensive tackle behind Trent Williams right now. And I agree with Krug. He's going to battle with Andre Dillard to be that top backup swing tackle for for San Francisco this year. The more that he developed and the better that he plays, the more confident that you feel about what is a mediocre, average, sometimes good Niners offensive line. And then there's Terron Jackson. He has also impressed some people during Niners OTAs. And this is a guy who, out of Coastal Carolina, was a pretty good athlete coming out of college. The Philadelphia Eagles took him in the 6th round in the 2021 NFL Draft. He was a player who popped for Philadelphia at moments in the preseason. In the regular season, really hasn't done much. 24 games, 0 starts, 1 sack. Didn't play for an entire year a couple of years ago. But at 6'2", 254, he can move. And Chris Kocurek called him an interesting player for this Niners defensive line who's been standing out during OTAs, and he could very well battle to win the 53, maybe beat out a guy like Robert Beal, who all we know is fast and twitchy, but hasn't been productive at all. Terron Jackson has some experience under his belt, and so far so good for him. He could be one of those sneaky players who ends up cracking this Niners roster prior to week 1. Mykel Williams, 11th overall pick for San Francisco. Just looks the part. Physical, long, he's big, he's a beast. He's been so powerful. He's been knocking down some Niners coaches just with the brute force that he plays with right away. I think he's going to be able to help this Niners rushing defense. And then I think the versatility is something that you have to look out for. He could play defensive end. He could play defensive tackle, kind of like what Arden Key, Charles Omenihu, Cleveland Ferrell have been able to do. The Niners really like defensive ends who have that type of versatility. And can you imagine Mykel Williams playing at defensive end where he's good enough to last there and be an impact player, but then he lines up over a guard and he can really use that length, that height, and that power to his advantage in addition to some of that speed? I think he's just going to be a really good scheme fit for the Niners. I've really warmed up to this pick. I like Jalen Walker instead of him when the Niners were on the board at number 11. But everything you hear out of Santa Clara is that this dude is a dude. Same can be said for Nick Martin, who the Niners took with pick number 100 out of Oklahoma State. The Niners, going into the draft, had a big need at linebacker. Lost Dre Greenlaw in free agency a couple of years ago. Lost Azeez Al-Shire. Last year, they had to deal with the Devondre Campbell disaster. Outside of Fred Warner, the linebacker play wasn't great. Of note, too, Johnny Holland, Niners linebackers coach, has said that D. Winters, he said this week, is the most improved linebacker on the Niners roster. And he's been raving about the rookie in Nick Martin. So too did Fred Warner. When you're getting this praise from the best off-ball linebacker in the game and a future Hall of Famer, that's pretty telling. Warner said, I've loved everything that Nick's been about since he's arrived. I heard the whole story about how he said he bought my jersey before coming on the team, and with some of those situations, the whole too cool thing, I don't know what it is. You just don't want an older player to think that they're just like little bro or something. But Nick Martin has come in, and he's asked me every single question known to man. Fred, how are you doing this? What are you doing after practice? What are you doing after the lift? And wanting to be a part of those things and not being too afraid to ask those questions. I've seen the athletic ability flash already on the field, and the way that he closes space really quickly already has the great mindset of wanting to learn. And I think that the Niners, again, this has been one of my predictions since the draft. They could start 5 rookies under Robert Saleh. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. The easy schedule will help them, but I think those players are capable, and I think that those players are the best players at those spots, and that's why I think Robert Saleh should start those players. That includes Nick Martin, who probably has the inside track right now to start at weak side linebacker with the powerful game that he has. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way, in addition to all of the long-form content I give you here on YouTube talking about the Niners. I'm always talking Niners over there as well.